Hi, I'm Julian Dougharty, President and Founder of DFS Marketing. DFS Marketing, we're a fixed index annuity wholesaling firm. We wholesale fixed index annuities for the largest insurance companies in the world. Our clients are independent financial professionals and insurance agents who sell fixed index annuities. Today here in Texas, we're doing our 2 Comma Club meeting. The 2 Comma Club meeting is where I bring down groups of multi-million-dollar producers and explain the services that DFS Marketing offers, such as helping them see more people, bringing technology to the forefront of their business to help them see more people and become an online influence. Online influence is a way to be able to tell masses of people about the services that you offer. Today I've got Randy. Randy, thank you very much for coming out here.
My pleasure.
And taking your time to meet with me. I've known you for many years.
Correct.
You know, all we've ever done really is talked over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
When one of my marketing reps said, well, I've got Randy here on the line, he says he knows you. And I said, Randy, we got to bring him down. And Randy, you know, I do appreciate you taking your time out of your day to meet with me and listen to our story and hopefully do business together, you know, this year and many years to come.
Absolutely.
I've got a couple questions I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Do you remember when you first got into the fixed index annuity business? Think way back when.
Well, I guess I'm old enough to think way back, so I guess it would probably be about 1984 is when I actually...
Who introduced you to the insurance business?
Well, I'd been in the life and health insurance business for a long time, and actually who introduced me to it, I don't recall, but I would go to different meetings and always felt like that the more meetings I went to, the more I learned, the better I was. And by talking to people, farmers and ranchers that I saw from Texas to Montana for 5 or 6 years, I got to talk to people about their needs and their services and how someone did them wrong and this and that and the other. And so my commitment was to make sure to do people right.
That makes sense.
And to make sure it's absolutely right for those folks.
Sure.
And so they don't have to worry when someone passes whether they got nailed or not. Because with me, they don't have to worry about it.
That's a very good point. Fixed index annuities, that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
What, if you could think, is one client, who is one client, if you could share the story, that you have helped in a significant way using a fixed index annuity? Some life-changing story that you could share with us.
Well, that's pretty easy. I have a client, I'm not going to reveal their name, but they were down in Corpus Christi, and actually it was a call-in to our office, and the person they were talking to in our office didn't do annuity business, and said, Randy, you want to take this call? And I said, sure, I will. And so I got to talking to them and found out that they were really pretty messed up on where they were at. And so I told them that, I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I said, me and my wife, I said, we need a little weekend getaway. And I said, so how about if we come down next Friday or 2 weeks down the road, whatever it was. And so we met with them on a Friday, her and her husband, and I was in the Navy and he was ex-Navy, so we got along real well. We talked stuff, and so after we sit there for quite a bit of time going over what they had, the agent they had was just continuously doing them wrong for commission basis for himself. He didn't have the client's best interest at heart, and it was very obvious if you've been in this business long enough that you can see that. And so after about 4.5 hours or so visiting and talking to him and looking over all of the stuff, I said, if you don't mind, what I'll do is I'll take some of this with me, take it back to my office, run some stuff, and see what we can do.
That makes sense.
So we did all this, and we were able to make some substantial changes, because the things like she's interested in, like most folks are their age, is taxes and health issues, long-term care issues, things of this nature. And her husband was already going through some minor health issues. I can't remember what they were particularly, but he had had some cardio things, and he had finally been cleared, but it was a big scare.
Yep.
And so we wanted to make sure that they were absolutely protected. And their family lives up in Round Rock, Texas, and we live in Georgetown. So she said, well, when we come up that way, we want to come see you. I said, you're welcome anytime, anytime. So we did that. And I guess it was a couple of weeks later, we went down there. We did business with the folks. And she said, you know, I've tried to get a hold of our old agent, and he's nowhere to be found. And I said, well, people that usually do what this guy did to you guys don't last too long in the business. And it wasn't 6 months or less than a year later, she called me up at my office and said, Randy, she goes, I just want to tell you what happened to that agent. He's in jail for fraud. And that's a fact. So we were able to help them, and to this day, she'll call me just to visit and talk and say, how are we doing? I said, I'll run the number, look at it, we're doing good, here's what we're doing, blah, 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 keep her in tune. Because when you get to that age, now what did we do?
Yeah.
What had we done? And so we both are my wife and myself are very into caring about folks. And we take care of people on a regular basis. They come by and, now I got this Social Security letter or something, but I'm not sure what to do. We take care of it for them, we sign it, we make copies, give them one, keep one in our folder, so we always have everything. We have their kids' names, numbers, so in case something happens, we know who to contact, and to make sure that they get the full benefits of things that they've purchased with us.
That makes sense. So, you sound like you're running a business for families. I mean, you deal with multiple generations.
Yes.
You want to make it known that your clients can come to you, Big Papa, and get anything that they need done, any questions answered, anything that may come about. And it sounds like you also have your wife working with you at your practice. So you have a family practice for families. I really like that.
Yes,
that's different.
That's absolutely true.
With fixed index annuities, can you tell me what is a couple of reasons why you like selling fixed index annuities to your customers?
Well, I think that's pretty easy because when you get to the age of where you're not in the gambling business anymore, and you want to make sure your money's protected, and I like to talk to people about asset protection. I said, I'm not here to tell you about that your guy that made you your money in your 401k and your other advisors were bad. I said, because if they were bad, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation.
That makes sense.
I said, but at their store, they don't have one product that I'm aware of that has the protection and the asset protection that we offer you. And I said, if you can get compound interest, a good return on your money, and the index annuities have really returned well the last couple of 2 or 3 years in the 18, 19, 20% zone, and people say, oh, they can't do that. And I said, they are doing that. And I said, the good thing is when you make it, you get to keep it. And
never goes backwards.
That's right, it never goes backwards. And I said, you have a zero protected bottom. And they go, well, what does that mean? I said, that doesn't sound too good. And I said, well, actually, I said, if you had $100,000 and it had made it up to 160, and then for some reason the market went south on you, like 9/11, for example, good example, and it dropped down and you lost, and you were down to $20,000, I said, you wouldn't be very happy, would you?
Not one bit.
Not one bit, okay? I don't know anybody that is. And so I said, with ours, you would stay at that 160, and I said, and it might take a year, year and a half, maybe 2 years before the market starts climbing back, but you're still at 160. You don't have to start from that 20,000 and try to work back up the line. And I said, so anytime you're doing that and you do compounding, you will be well satisfied. You're not going to be sweating. You're going to be able to have a happy Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas, while everybody else and your neighbors are over going, oh my God, George, what are we going to do?
That makes sense. That's what you mean by asset protection.
That's correct.
Okay, so you're never allowing the money to go backwards, and you're always keeping the gains in the fixed index annuity.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. So when you came down here to DFS Marketing's 2 Comma Club meeting, What were you hoping, besides meeting me after all these years, what were you hoping DFS Marketing could do for you and your business?
Well, I said, you know, I'm an older guy and I've been doing this for 40 years. I had to calculate that up a little bit ago. And I've seen a lot of people. I used to be in the lead business where you'd get 20 or 30 leads a week and you'd go out and see folks and
Knocking on doors?
not knocking on doors, but getting a handful of quarters and going to the payphone somewhere.
Sure.
No cell phones were out there
No.
then. And if you had a phone, you couldn't afford to use it back at those times. And so the marketing has changed over time. We did seminars, we did different variations, and I've done them all. And I've done mailers, and I've done all this. And just yesterday, we were in our office and we were talking about the amount of money that we spend on marketing for open enrollment for the senior market and how much return we got, and it was horrible.
Less than...
It was horrible. I mean, the leads were about $165 a piece, which should be around $16 to $18 a piece, you know, on a natural market. And so I said, you know, to be honest with you, that, you know, you've been calling me for several years, and we've talked on the phone multiple times, and I've heard all the stories, and I've heard all the gibberish and promises and what have you, and but no one's ever delivered. You know, it's just talk. And so I told my wife, I said, well, we're going to go up there, and I'm going to check him out and see if he's worth his salt or not.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
we're here, and everything I've heard today has been great, and I think we're definitely in. And
So
we're
the real deal.
We are the real deal,
We
and
are,
I appreciate it.
yeah,
I
we
really
are.
do.
Yeah, we are a true insurance marketing organization. You know, a lot of the calls that you may be getting at home from different marketing organizations typically are, believe it or not, coming from an individual marketing rep that lives out of their home. They work out of their home, and they're calling you, and they're promising you the world, and they're under-delivering. And they're typically asking you to buy some direct mail program, some seminar program.
I need your credit card information now.
And typically, you know, nothing really comes out of that. And,
Very rarely comes out of it.
Very rarely. And so here, what we're trying to do today is to get you and your practice to fully understand and comprehend that the way that you're going to continue marketing for fixed index annuities in the future is no longer those $160 direct mail leads.
Oh my gosh, no.
It is strictly now to get you on the internet and get you out there as an online influencer and help you be able to cover the state of Texas instead of just covering your town, your small town, all at the same time, and being able to get people to help people on a massive level by using the internet, using Facebook, using social media. So hopefully we can help you build your business, help you see more people, help you become more efficient, and help you become that online influencer. Now, Randy, I wanted to thank you very much for your time again.
My pleasure.
And,
My pleasure. It's nice meeting you.
We'll look forward to
Okay.
working with you in the following year.
Okay. Good luck.